This is what always gets me. They get caught cheating, they get caught in the act. Then all of a sudden, I love you. I need you. Don't leave me. It's ridiculous, but clearly she was doing it out of desperation. Story of betrayal. Caught my wife cheating in Florida. Dear True Nation, I hope this email finds you well. My name is Joseph, and I've been a longtime fan of your channel. Your storytelling has provided me with a sense of comfort, knowing that I am not alone in experiencing the painful reality of betrayal. Today, I want to share my own story in the hopes that it might resonate with others who have been through similar experiences. I've been married to my wife, Maria, for 5 years. While we had our ups and downs like any couple, I always believed we had a strong foundation. However, 3 months ago, I started noticing strange behavior from Maria. She became increasingly secretive with her phone, started dressing up more frequently without explanation, and often claimed to be working late, even though she had never done so before. My gut told me something was wrong, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions without evidence. To put my mind at ease, I decided to hire a private investigator. At first, I felt guilty about it. After all, wasn't trust the foundation of marriage? But as the weeks passed, the investigator uncovered alarming details. Maria had been active on a dating app and was planning to meet a man in Panama City, Florida. She told me she was going on a girls' trip, but in reality, she was using that as a cover to meet this stranger. When the investigator presented me with irrefutable proof, messages, photos, and even details about the hotel she would be staying at, I knew I had to see it with my own eyes. So, I got in my car and drove from Atlanta to Panama City, my heart pounding the entire way. I arrived at the hotel and waited outside, watching as Maria walked out of the building hand in hand with this man. Seeing it with my own eyes sent a wave of rage, heartbreak, and devastation through me. I confronted her right then and there. She was shocked and immediately burst into tears, begging for my forgiveness. "It was a mistake," she cried. "It didn't mean anything." But the damage was already done. What cut me even deeper was the timing. Maria had recently lost her job, and now she was clinging to me, not out of love, but out of desperation. She knew that without me, she had nothing. I told her I wanted a divorce. At that moment, she collapsed to her knees, sobbing and pleading with me to reconsider. She swore it would never happen again, and that she would do anything to fix our marriage. But how could I ever trust her again? How could I stay with someone who had so callously thrown away everything we built together? I turned my back on her and drove home to Atlanta. The next morning, I contacted a divorce lawyer. I was determined not to let Maria manipulate me into staying, and I was especially concerned about the financial implications of our split. The lawyer provided me with a detailed breakdown of the steps we needed to take to ensure she would not be entitled to alimony. Since Maria had been unemployed, the court might have been inclined to grant her financial support, but because we could prove infidelity, that changed the situation. The investigator's evidence became a crucial piece in building my case. My lawyer advised me to keep all records intact: text messages, photos, and any correspondence between Maria and her affair partner. By documenting everything, we could argue that she violated the marriage contract and therefore did not deserve financial compensation. Additionally, my lawyer advised me to separate our joint accounts immediately and start keeping detailed records of all financial transactions. The goal was to prevent any claims of financial misconduct or attempts by Maria to access funds she was no longer entitled to. Emotionally, this has been the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. I never imagined that the woman I married, the one I built a life with, would betray me so cruelly. It still haunts me to think about the moments we shared, knowing that she was capable of such deception. I wanted to share my story with you because your channel has been a source of strength for me. Hearing other men's experiences has helped me realize that I am not alone, and I hope my story can do the same for someone else. If you decide to feature my story, please feel free to adjust any details as needed for privacy. I just want people to know that no matter how painful betrayal is, there is a way forward. After catching Maria cheating in Panama City, I immediately went home to Atlanta and met with my lawyer. The lawyer assured me that because we could prove infidelity, Maria's chances of securing alimony were slim. However, the process was far from simple. Maria refused to accept that our marriage was over. She sent long emotional texts, left voicemails crying, and even showed up at my house unannounced, pleading for another chance. But I had already made up my mind. There was no coming back from this. When I officially filed for divorce, Maria initially agreed to an uncontested divorce, but her tune changed once she spoke with her own attorney. Suddenly, she was demanding financial support, claiming that since she had been unemployed, she had no means of sustaining herself. Her lawyer argued that because we had been married for 5 years, she had become financially dependent on me. They tried to paint me as the abandoning husband who left his wife in financial ruin. Thankfully, my lawyer was prepared. We presented the private investigator's report, which included concrete evidence of Maria's affair. This became a game changer. In many states, proving infidelity can significantly impact divorce settlements, and in our case, it meant that Maria was at a disadvantage when it came to financial claims. Despite the overwhelming evidence against her, Maria and her lawyer still tried to drag out the case. They attempted to argue that my decision to hire a private investigator was an invasion of her privacy, hoping the court would dismiss the evidence. But my lawyer successfully countered this by explaining that I had reasonable suspicion and that the evidence was obtained legally. The judge overseeing the case was strict but fair. He acknowledged Maria's financial difficulties, but also noted that she had been deceitful throughout the marriage. Maria then tried another tactic, playing the victim. She cried in court, claiming she had been struggling mentally and emotionally, which led her to make poor decisions. She argued that she deserved support until she could get back on her feet. At this point, my lawyer brought up Maria's spending habits. Despite claiming to be unemployed and struggling, she had spent a significant amount of money during her affair, booking expensive hotels, dining at upscale restaurants, and even purchasing gifts for the man she was cheating with. We had access to her bank statements, proving that she was not as destitute as she claimed. This revelation turned the tide in my favor. Over the course of several hearings, Maria and her lawyer tried to negotiate a settlement where I would provide some form of financial support, but I refused. I was not going to reward infidelity. My lawyer advised me to stay firm and let the legal process play out. One of the most intense moments in court came when Maria's lawyer attempted to argue that despite the affair, she had still contributed to the marriage and was therefore entitled to compensation. My lawyer responded by pointing out that marriage is a partnership built on trust, and Maria had single-handedly destroyed that trust. He reiterated that there were no children involved and that Maria was a healthy, capable adult who could seek employment rather than expecting financial support from the man she betrayed. After months of legal battles, the judge finally ruled in my favor. Maria was denied alimony, and she walked away with nothing other than her personal belongings. The moment I heard the verdict, a massive weight lifted off my shoulders. I had spent months stressing over the possibility of having to financially support someone who had no respect for me or our marriage, and now I was finally free. Maria stormed out of the courtroom in tears. She made one last attempt to talk to me before I left, but I had nothing more to say to her. I walked away, knowing that I had done everything I could to protect myself and that I was finally closing this painful chapter of my life. Looking back, I realized how crucial it was to have legal guidance and solid evidence on my side. Without the private investigator's report and my lawyer's strategic approach, I could have been forced into a financial settlement that I didn't deserve. To anyone going through something similar, my advice is simple. Document everything. Seek legal counsel, and do not let emotions cloud your judgment. I want to thank you again for the work you do on your channel. Your videos gave me the strength to push forward, and I hope my story can serve as a reminder that justice can prevail, even in the face of betrayal. Update. I wanted to send you an update on my situation, one that I honestly didn't see coming. After winning the divorce case and walking away without having to pay Maria anything, I thought that chapter of my life was closed. I had started focusing on moving forward, rebuilding myself, and putting everything behind me. But then, something unexpected happened. A few days ago, I was running a simple errand at Walmart, just picking up some groceries and essentials. I was halfway through my shopping when I heard a familiar voice call my name. I turned around, and there she was, Maria. She looked different, not in the way that time changes a person, but in a way that told me she had been struggling. She looked thinner. Her clothes were slightly wrinkled, and there was a desperation in her eyes that I had never seen before. I was caught off guard. I hadn't spoken to Maria since the finalization of the divorce, and I wasn't particularly interested in reopening old wounds. My first instinct was to walk away, but she stepped in front of me, blocking my path. "Joseph, please," she said, her voice trembling. "Just hear me out." I sighed, knowing that the only way to get through this was to let her speak. She took a deep breath and started talking, not about the affair, not about the divorce, but about love. She told me she still loved me, that despite her mistakes, I was the best thing that ever happened to her. She talked about how I had always been her rock, how I made her feel safe, how no one had ever treated her the way I did. She admitted that she took me for granted, that she never realized just how much I meant to her until it was too late. She went on to say that she wasn't just there to ask for forgiveness, but to tell me that she needed me. Her voice cracked as she explained that after the divorce, she had struggled to find work. She had been staying with a friend, but that arrangement had fallen apart. She had nowhere to go. She was out of money, out of options, and out of hope. Then she hit me with the hardest part. "Joseph," she said, tears streaming down her face, "if you don't take me back, I'll have to stay in a homeless shelter." That sentence hit me like a ton of bricks. As much as I was still angry at Maria for what she had done, I never wanted to see her homeless. A part of me, no matter how much I tried to suppress it, still cared. But I also knew that I couldn't let my emotions make decisions for me. I stood there for a moment, trying to process everything. The woman who had betrayed me, who had begged for forgiveness in court only to fight for money when she realized I wouldn't give it, was now in front of me, completely vulnerable. I asked her, "Why should I believe you now? You didn't need me when you were sneaking around behind my back. You didn't need me when you tried to take me to court for alimony. But now that you have nothing, you suddenly love me." She shook her head, sobbing harder. "I was stupid, Joseph. I was selfish and blind. I made the biggest mistake of my life, and I've lost everything because of it. Please, I don't know where else to go." The old me, the man who once loved her without question, might have given in, but I had changed. I had learned my worth, and I knew that taking her back would only open the door to more pain. I took a deep breath and told her the hardest truth she probably ever had to hear. "Maria, I'm sorry you're struggling, but I can't be your safety net. You made your choices, and now you have to live with them. I can't trust you, and without trust, there's nothing left." She grabbed my arm, desperation pouring out of her. Just for a little while, Joseph. Just until I get back on my feet. I promise, no expectations. I don't want to sleep on the street. I could feel the eyes of other Walmart shoppers on us. I could see the pity in their faces, but none of them knew our story. None of them knew the pain she had put me through. I gently pulled my arm away. Maria, I hope you find a way to turn your life around, but I can't be a part of that anymore. Her face crumpled, and for a moment she looked like she might collapse right there in the aisle. But she nodded slowly, wiped her tears, and whispered, I understand. I walked away, not looking back. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Also, I'd love to share my thoughts on some life changes I've had since the divorce. It's about a realization that has been growing inside me ever since I walked away from my marriage. I've come to the conclusion that I will never get into another relationship again, not just because of what happened to me personally, but because I truly believe that marriage and relationships slow men down, and I no longer see the point in them. Looking back, I realize how much I sacrificed to be the good husband, how much of my own potential I stifled in order to be the stable provider, the reliable partner, the man who made compromises for the sake of the relationship. And for what? So that I could be betrayed, so that I could be taken to court and nearly forced to pay for someone who didn't respect me. The more I think about it, the clearer it becomes. Marriage is perfect for a woman, but for a man, it's a complete waste of time. Men are expected to give everything in a relationship: our time, our energy, our resources, our commitment, while women are given the option to walk away whenever they feel unfulfilled, taking half of everything we've built with them. That's not a partnership. That's a gamble where the odds are stacked against us. The legal system, the social expectations, the emotional burdens, it all falls on us, while they have an exit strategy at any time with full support from society. I've been having a lot of deep conversations with my brother about all of this. He's been one of the few people who truly understood what I went through and didn't just give me the usual, not all women are like that response. He's been through his own share of bad relationships, and together we've realized something important. We lost ourselves in trying to be what women wanted us to be, and we're done with that. Since the divorce, I've felt a mental clarity I haven't had in years. The stress, the constant need to check in, the compromises, it's all gone. And in its place, I found something I thought I had lost: my ambition, my creativity, my drive to build something meaningful for myself. My brother and I have been bouncing around business ideas, and for the first time in a long time, I feel excited about life again. I feel like I'm in control. When I was married, I lost my focus. I was so busy being the good husband that I didn't have time to be the best version of myself. I had ideas for businesses, side hustles, ways to build generational wealth, but instead, I was spending my energy on making sure my wife was happy. I didn't even realize how much I had given up until it was all over. Marriage, for men, is like putting a cap on your potential. Instead of being able to fully chase your goals, you're constantly worrying about maintaining a relationship. You have to be emotionally available, financially stable, and always present while your own dreams slowly fade into the background. And if things go south, you don't just lose the woman, you lose half of everything you've built. I refuse to live like that ever again. Some people might call this bitter, but I see it as enlightened. I'm not saying all women are bad, but I am saying that the system is set up in a way that makes marriage a losing game for men. Why would I willingly put myself in a position where I have more to lose than to gain? The world is full of opportunities, and I refuse to spend my life chasing after someone else's happiness while neglecting my own. So, what's next for me? Business. My brother and I are working on some solid plans, things we should have started years ago if we hadn't been so distracted by relationships. I feel more creative than I have in years, and I finally have the time and energy to invest in myself. Instead of wasting time trying to build a future with someone else, I'm building a future for myself. To any man out there who feels like he's stuck, who feels like he's given up his ambitions for the sake of a relationship, wake up. Look at your life. Are you truly free? Are you living for yourself? Or are you just trying to be the perfect provider, the perfect partner, while your own dreams slip away? I wanted to share this update because I know a lot of men out there struggle with letting go. It's easy to feel guilty, to feel responsible for someone who once meant the world to you. But the truth is, we are not obligated to save those who betrayed us. It's as if everyone is haunting me and trying to shame me for divorcing my lying ex. Thank you for your time, and as always, I appreciate the work you do in giving people like me a voice. You said she lost her job. Poor thing. You did the right thing by divorcing her. You did the right thing by, getting out of that situation, man. No. And then, so you you ran into her and she's still begging, please take me back. It's ridiculous. When you're on this dating app, you're so confident. Yeah, you're probably telling people you're in an open relationship or I'm single and you putting up all these pictures. You probably put up pictures of you and your husband together, but you cut his face out. You like crop the picture where it just shows you. It's just ridiculous, man. They're ridiculous. Listen, your part where you're talking about how marriage slows men down, relationship slows men down. I agree, sir. In 2018, when I started this channel, the main channel, when I started doing these videos, I had the same realization. It's a waste of time and it takes you away from a lot. I have done so much since leaving that relationship. Guys, I'm not here to tell you to be single the rest of your life. I'm not here to say that. I'm just telling you, I agree with him. It does slow you down. It takes your focus away. Because you truly are, because as men, like we do want to have families. We want to have our own families with our own children, take care of them. We're providers. We're men. That's who we are. But in this modern day, these women are leeches. They're just trying to take everything from you. I hear them shaming people. Oh, you should do this and do that. Or if you're not doing that, then you're not a man. They're telling you what a man is. Oh, man, it's ridiculous. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. OB, thanks a lot for this email. I love it. Thanks for sharing your story. Hopefully it helps someone. Guys, if you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That is truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.